All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to elect, which we ought to be. And I'm your brother Hawaii from GMS Chicago. And, the apostles, been going on about a house cleaning, saying spring cleaning. And, of course, nobody wants to fall out and stuff, but this is the best time to look at your weaknesses, man. You know what I'm saying? To pay attention to what things that like any bad habits that you need to mortify. You know what I'm saying? And I want to start off with Second Corinthians chapter 13, verse 5. It says, "Examine yourselves." I'm saying the word "examine" uh, is parazzo, and it says to try whether a thing can be done, to attempt and devour, to try, make trial of, test for the purpose of a certain ascertaining his quantity. You know what I'm saying? To try or test one's faith, virtue, character by enticement. You know what I'm saying? So, when you examine, when it says examine yourselves, is to, try yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Think upon the things, meditate upon some things. You know what I'm saying? What's good, and or what you need balance on. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves. You know what I'm saying? Uh, uh, um, you know yourself, you know what I'm saying? So you know what things that you don't need to be doing, you know what I'm saying? You know what things that you do too much of, that you do too less of, you know what I'm saying? You know, what can help out the balance, what can uh, uh, slow down the balance, you know what I'm saying? Unbalance the balance, you know yourself, And it says, how that Yahushua Mashiach is in you, it said ye be reprobates, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be a reprobate, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, you don't want to be rejected, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says, verse 6, it says, but I trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. You know what I'm saying? Because you going to, while with you examining yourself, you know what I'm saying? You're going to do the things that won't get you rejected, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it says in Ezekiel, the 14th chapter, I believe verse 14, it names Jeremiah, I think Noah, and another prophet where it says that these men delivered themselves. You know what I'm saying? What was one of the things that that they did? They examined themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? They make sure they was on point. This is Psalm chapter 26, verse 2. It says, examine me, O Lord, and prove me. You know what I'm saying? That word prove in the Hebrew is nasah. It's the na, the sa, and the ha, nasah. You know what I'm saying? And it says to test, try, prove, tempt, assay, put to prove, put to the proof, or test. Uh, you know what I'm saying? To test, attempt, you know what I'm saying? uh Adventure, essay, prove, tempt, try. You know what I'm saying? So, the uh in this scripture, he asks, Lord, examine me, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what it is that I'm lacking in that's having me off balance, man. You know what I'm saying? What things need to be put on a hold. You got Apostle Har, you know what I'm saying? He put the idea to do 3 videos a day. You know what I'm saying? You know, or you could do one video every day, man. You know what I'm saying? Why? It's a merciful thing to keep the spirit hot. You know what I'm saying? And if you could really see it, you could see that the mercy in it, man. You know what I'm saying? To keep some who probably got bad balances, to bring that balance up to a good stand, man. It says, try my reins in my heart. You know what I'm saying? It reins meaning your inner man. Your heart goes back to the word lob, the ba, lob, and it means your heart, your mind, man. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures talk about how the Lord would come knock at the door and sup with you. You know what I'm saying? And that's in your mind, If you ask him for help, he'll give it. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says, ask in my name and it shall be given thee. You know, this is James chapter 1, verse 5. It says, if any this is James chapter 1, verse 2. It says, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. You know what I'm saying? And one of the temptations is not to examine yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing your flesh try to tell you is like, oh man, you good. You don't have to worry about nothing. You got this. You know what I'm saying? You know, ain't no reason to self-examine yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because self-examination is always one of the key things that helps onto salvation, man. You know, because it keeps you in order, it keeps you in check. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. You know what I'm saying? It says, but let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. And then we're wanting meaning lacking nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you examine yourself, you know what I'm saying, you're more on key on what you need to do and what not to do. You know what I'm saying? How to keep that balance. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then if there's like another brother, you know what I'm saying, who having these lack of things, might be the same things that you was lacking in. You know what I'm saying? Or the same things that you was imbalanced in. Guess what? Now you can give the right counsel. You know what I'm saying? Not being a hypocrite, not giving a judgment, you know what I'm saying? And not giving a judgment, but yeah, you doing it as well. You know what I'm saying? You still got that beam in your eye, you know? You'll be doing it the right way. Verse 5, it says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, freely, man, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. You know what I'm saying? So you get ask of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? If you can't really see, you know what I'm saying, or you got say if you have a brother that's telling you like you do this, you do that, you do this too much, you do that too much, and you can't see it, hey, ask the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the fact that you can't see it is because the Lord wants you to come to him and ask. You know what I'm saying? You know? And it says, and he'll show you, you know what I'm saying? Because the Lord knows how to work with you, you know what I'm saying? How your spirit works. So he'll give it to you the right way where you know you're going to understand, you know? Verse 6, it says, but let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. You know what I'm saying? So be solid, you know what I'm saying, that what the Lord gives the answer to, that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you ask him, you know what I'm saying, believe that he's going to let you know. You know what I'm saying? You know? You know, it goes into it's like verse 7. It says, for let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Because for one thing, if you believe that he's not going to do it, how strong is that belief? You know what I'm saying? You know, you should have the belief that he is going to give you the answer. You know what I'm saying? A brother did a video where it says sometimes you got to wait for the understanding. You know what I'm saying? The Lord will give it to you in the right time. You know, it says, verse 8, it says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have there's no solidness to you. You know what I'm saying? You're this way, you're that way. You know what I'm saying? You know, you believe, but then you don't, you know. You know, so ask the Lord, you know. This is Ezekiel chapter 14, verse 14. It says, though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they shall deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, saith the Lord power. And what is one of the things, because they was in the flesh as well. You know what I'm saying? They examined themselves, man. You know, they examined themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you need to do to continue on in this truth, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the demons are gonna get harder. The more doubt is gonna get harder. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be more doubt. These demons gonna push. You know what I'm saying? More situations to boggle your mind, this, that, and the other. But in the end, you gotta lean onto Yahweh Shem Yahshai. And with dealing with you, you gotta constantly examine yourself so you won't make the same mistake over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So you can get better. So if that demon come around, you already know how to cut it off. You know?
It's just part of delivering yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, making sure that you don't that you can check these flaws. You know what I'm saying? Check these demons, knowing how they come through. You know what I'm saying? You know how to fight them.
You know? This is Galatians chapter 5, verse 17. It says, for the flesh lusted against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a constant war. You're gonna have scriptures popping in your head, and you're gonna have things of the flesh, things that your flesh gonna be trying to counteract the scriptures, man. You know what I'm saying? To keep you down. Man. Maybe the spirit be like, you should examine yourself. You know what I'm saying? You should think upon this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? Stop, sit down and think, you know what I'm saying? And ponder on things, you know what I'm saying? You know? But then the flesh like, nah, you good. You don't have to examine yourself. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do that. Oh, he wrong, you know what I'm saying? He don't know what he talking about, you know what I'm saying? You know yourself, you know. Coming to you in the wrong way. It says, and these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not. So you know the flesh and the spirit war against one another, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and when you examine yourself, you recognize how the demons come at you according to your spirit. How the spirit works, you know what I'm saying, to counteract them bad thoughts. You know what I'm saying? This is so like Colossians 3. This is Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. That word mortify is necro, and it says to make dead, to put to death, slay, worn out of an appointed man, to deprive of the power, deprive of power, destroy the strength of, you know what I'm saying? To deaden, that is figuratively to subdue, be dead, mortify. You know what I'm saying? So to slay your members, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Talking about them the fleshly thoughts that causes you to have that imbalance, man. Those bad habits that causes the imbalance. You know what I'm saying? It says fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience. So the thing is that you want to have a balance in things, man. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, you know, if you have an imbalance, that imbalance is more towards the flesh. You know what I'm saying? Which starts working disobedience, man. You know what I'm saying? Now you ain't following the spirit. Now you get that deceitful spirit that's in you, you know what I'm saying, deceiving you, like one of the kings that didn't want to listen to the prophet Micah when Micah was saying that destruction was coming upon him, and he wanted to hear smooth things, hear good things and stuff, and didn't take heed to the message. So that means he wasn't following the spirit, you know what I'm saying, you know, and then mess around and get you destroyed, you know. It says, verse 7, it says, in the which ye also walked sometime when ye lived in them. You know what I'm saying? You know, you at a point, you know, it's talking about the old man, according to Ephesians 4:22, man. You know what I'm saying? Or 4:20. It talks about the old man, you know, and with this being the constant battle, you know what I'm saying, that flesh being against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh, that old man is constantly gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? The bad spirits, the left-handed side of spirits are gonna try to get you to be disobedient, try to get you to stay in the flesh, try to get you not to examine yourself so you can have that imbalance, man. Or have you know what I'm saying? And it says verse 8, it says, but now ye also put off all these anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds. You know what I'm saying? You know, so cast these things out. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says, be angry, sin not. You know what I'm saying? If you mad, you know, I mean, it's okay to be mad, but don't sin. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says is when thou turn to a lower state, you know what I'm saying? Don't, it's like this is, Sirach, chapter 2. Chapter 2, verse 2, it says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. So when you angry, you tend not to think things. You know what I'm saying? You tend not to examine the whole matter. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want to be quick to sit up here and make a decision, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the flesh was. You know, the old man was, you know what I'm saying? Feet swift to do mischief, man. You know what I'm saying? To shed blood. You know, you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's part of putting off the old man, because now you're thinking before you do. You're not being impulsive. You're not doing before you think, you know. Verse 10, it says, and have put on the new man. And what the new man is going to do, he's going to examine himself, man. You know what I'm saying? It says, which is renewed in the knowledge after the image of him that created him. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're going to use the spirit. You're going to think first. You're going to examine first. You know what I'm saying? You're going to weigh it out in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's what the spirit is going to do anyways. The spirit is going to bring scriptures to your mind, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and through your understanding onto the situation, you're going to examine and have the right, you're going to choose the right choice, man. You know, this, this is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22. It says, this is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 22. It says that ye put off concerning the former conversation. And that word conversation in Greek is anastrophe, and it means manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment, behavior, conversation. You know what I'm saying? So it says that ye put off concerning the former behavior. You know what I'm saying? The way the way of the world, you know what I'm saying? The way that you was, the niggerism, you know what I'm saying? Being a nigger, being a bitch, being a diva, being a thug, you know what I'm saying? Being a gangster, putting that shit off. It says the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, you know what I'm saying? And it is corrupt, you know what I'm saying? Because it's based off the flesh, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't do no type of examination when you're in that state, of mind, you know what I'm saying? You know? It says, verse 23, it says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. You know what I'm saying? That word renewed is ananeo, and it says to renew in the mind, to renovate, that is reform, renew. You know what I'm saying? So you making a change here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, it says, and that ye put, verse 24, and that ye put on the new man, which after the Most High is created in righteousness and true holiness. You know what I'm saying? Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. You know what I'm saying? It says, verse 26, it says, be ye angry and sin not. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it might be some times where you get a little angry that you know, but the thing is that you don't make haste in time of trouble. It says, let not the sun go down upon your wrath, neither give place to the devil. You know what I'm saying? And that's that old man trying to interfere with your salvation. You know what I'm saying? You know, or with the right pounders to keep you balanced and stuff to enter into that rest, which is the kingdom, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, the scriptures talk about let no man take thy crown, and what's the main enemy? Because the condition of the battle is the spirit versus the flesh, your spirit versus your flesh. You know what I'm saying? So examination helps, man. You know, it really does help. You know, for you to be on point. You know, and to be able to catch little things that you went through that new brothers coming in is going to go through, where you can give wise counsel and give these scriptures to for a comforter, man. You know, and I hope this video was edifying. I like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to apostles of great millstone, and salutations to the elect, which we hope to be. Shalom and a Abba.